Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network. Welcome back to the show. Jaime Breeze joining us. Not sure, since she is a psychic and a medium animal communicator, did she just mess with our work here? Did you hear that? Like the bumper started, then it stops. And I'm like, did I click off? So sometimes energy flows that way, right? And your energy can affect computers and those from the other side, right?
Yes. And that's a perfect segue into something I want to talk about today once we get going.
So then that was you. So you made that happen. Because I'm like, what? Tell us. Say hello. By the way, Jaime Breeze is here. Give us your website, your information, so we can reach out to you as well to start.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. As Jill mentioned, I'm a psychic medium, spiritual healer, and animal communicator. My website is jaimebreeze.com, JAIMEBREEZE.com, and on Instagram and TikTok at The Mountain Medium. And Jill, I wanted to talk today about working with the power of spirit. And it's funny because I just did a post. I was going to say, if you get a chance, go on Instagram and watch this video I just posted yesterday. It's about the power of spirit and how our loved ones on the other side work through electronics.
I didn't see it. This is so cool.
And electricity. And the post I did yesterday was this beautiful photo of from a spirit who had just transitioned to the other side, a family member of a client I did a reading for. And as soon as we kind of hung up and their lights started going nuts, and they took a video and sent it to me. So it's pretty cool that, the power of intention and spirit's energy can flow like that. So, yeah.
And is it wicked wild that we are connected on the same page? For me, it's like telepathy, or like, am I getting a vibe that that's what we're supposed to talk about today? Because a lot of times you and I are on the same page when it comes to what we're wearing, what we say, what we do. Is that weird?
Yeah, absolutely. And I almost wore my casual, like, comfy sweater today, and I was like, no, Jill's not dressing cozy today, so I'm not. So it was kind of funny. And also I was going to ask you, so just before coming down here to do this podcast, I was making my bed. And I felt a woman's energy come forward and say, I don't like how you're making it, so redo it. Now, I was wondering, is that your mom? Like, was she particular about bed making, or is that just another download from someone else?
Okay. The funniest thing is, this morning when I did make my bed, my son was in the bed on his iPad before he went to school. And I came upstairs in the house and I rushed and I made the bed half-heartedly with him in it. And I said, all right, Mama's just doing it this way for now. Is that okay? He's like, and he's on the iPad. And that must have been about an hour. And I don't know how long ago. I don't know when, but yeah, I said that. So I did it really hastily, rushily, and it's not fully made.
And so you said that's your mom on the other side?
My mom, that's what I did. But my mom was such a perfectionist. Every day she had a vacuum, clean her house, make her bed perfect. This was not a perfect job. And then when I took my son to school, I left the bed. There's like a hole in it with him where he was, and it was disheveled looking. That is
I love it. Okay. So that was your mom coming forward again. And I had a feeling we were going to hear from her today, but see the synchronicities of that. Yeah. So you didn't make the bed properly because he was in it, and you had to apologize to her because she'd be mad. And okay, the reason my bed wasn't made properly is because I was meditating on it. And so it was half made. And then when I got up, I thought it was made, but then there was a section where I was like lying down and meditating. So I had to redo it. So it's funny that your son had the body imprint as well as me. But then I was walking out of the room and I felt like Mimi doesn't like it how I made the bed. So redo it. So there's two things happening there. She's noticing that because she wants to be present again in our sessions. So she's noticing that and making me redo it, but also the synchronicity of letting you know that she was there and she heard your intention this morning.
Oh my gosh. And we used to call her Hotel Michelle because when you went to her house, it was like a hotel. Like it was the most cleanest house ever. And I have a lot of that OCD, not as good as her, but like everyday cleaning. She had to have like stripes in her carpet from like the vacuum the perfect way.
Yeah.
You weren't allowed to step on the carpet. It was would dust everything every day. Like she was an overachiever in that area. And then I got her to start cleaning houses like for first job when I was like my 20 something because my dad wouldn't let her out of the house to work. Then she started cleaning houses and she did that up until she passed. She had to stop about a year into it. She was crying because she used to love it because then she realized she can make money from her skill, which was amazing. And anyone that knows her says Michelle was the best. It was like she really did a thorough job, not like a
Oh
normal
my
cleaning
God.
person. Yeah. So you got
Well,
it. And
I'm going to learn a lot from her on how to make my bed properly. And thank you for sharing a photo of her the other day as well. She is absolutely beautiful and radiant, and her energy is definitely so strong. And as I said that, I don't know if it's her or not, but I just saw a blue ball of light float past. So
wow.
I think we're
Connected.
putting the intention out today. That snowball effect we've talked about before. The more we speak about spirits and our loved ones on the other side, the easier it is for them to build the fire around us and show themselves more. And I love it. I love seeing your growth the past few months working with you, Jill, and just how amazing, like your mom comes in almost every week now, and she's showing herself to you when you're at her old house, your sister's house. Like, it's just really, really cool.
And I talk to my kids about her constantly. We're in bed at night. We talk about her all the time. And that's a lesson, for people out there who are listening, watching today. Talk about it, talk about them. Like you said, it builds the energy, it builds the flow. And so you've taught me that, and you have classes on that. You teach children even how to connect. So without me even knowing that we're like, she's teaching me, Jaime has taught me so much in all these months. And I've become way more aware, more intuitive, more receptive to all of this. And it just makes me feel so good. And I tell everyone about it and spreading the word about this. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah. And that's exactly the power of working with spirit, and how you just said you feel good about it. It's uplifting. I have goosebumps because it's like make me feel good. And I feel like your mom is right here. And why not utilize that? Why? They're all around us. Energy is everywhere, as we've talked about before.
Yeah.
So just because we don't have a physical body anymore doesn't mean our souls don't exist, and those relationships still exist. And that's the other important message I want to make sure people understand, is that relationship isn't over, and it's fun to continue it and build it and strengthen it.
Yeah.
And I honestly just felt, Jill, do you drive to work?
Yeah. Well, it depends if I'm working from home or in my car. I was in my car this morning. Yeah.
Okay, because I feel like there's going to be a song that comes on the radio on your way home.
Oh, okay.
That is going to make you smile and laugh and know that it's from your mom. So pay attention to that.
That always happens. Always happens.
Yeah.
So it's usually Gloria. I think I got your number. Gloria.
Yeah.
One of those, like but there's plenty of them that remind me of her. But that one in particular, I'm like, whoa, spot on.
And I feel like she's also saying, look in your coffee cup holder, because I know you found a penny on your desk a couple weeks ago when we were talking, but I feel there's a penny in your coffee holder as well too. Which, everyone has coins in their coffee cup holder, but for some reason she wants you to notice this penny today.
Okay.
And if it's not there today, don't stress about it, because it's going to appear.
Okay.
Sometimes the dates kind of are off, but yeah. So, and another cool way, Jill, that I've never mentioned to you is tattoos. I love tattoos of that people get for their loved ones, in honor of their loved ones on the other side. Now, those tattoos bring through a lot of energy as well. So whether it's your mom's on the other side and you go and get a tattoo, you're setting the intention in that tattoo for that energy to exude itself in a way, or the spirit on the other side, when you're walking by that tattoo and you can feel the energy from it, they're just letting you know. So as you know, I do waitress part-time, and a lot of people that I serve, I'm dropping a drink off to them, and all of a sudden it's like a boom of energy, and it's like, I know that tattoo is for grandma or mom or dad or a cat on the other
Wow.
side. And I love it. So I had this really cool story to share today. I was doing a session for this young guy, like in his early 20s. We were doing a mediumship reading, and his grandmother, who he was very close with, he's Latin American, and those Latin Americans have a tight knit family unit, which I think we all should have. So
Yeah.
kudos to them. He's from Uruguay. I love that culture. I love it. They're just so honorable, especially men with their mothers and grandmothers. I love it. So anyway, I felt a real tight connection to him and his grandmother, and he just kind of got a little weepy. His grandmother had recently passed away, and she showed me this beautiful bouquet of flowers. I was like, okay, she's sending, and they were like pink lilies. And I said to him, I'm like, your grandmother's showing me pink lilies.
Wow.
And so he's like, oh my God, I have to show you this. He takes off his shirt, and his entire back was covered in these beautiful pink lily tattoos in honor of his grandmother. And I was like, I love it. I love it. I love
Whoa.
it. And he's like, Jamie, you won't believe what happened though. So he was in the town I'm from, which is in the northern Canadian Rockies, but he's here working for a couple years on a visa. But like I mentioned, he's from Uruguay.
Mm-hmm.
So he couldn't make it home for the funeral because of COVID,
Oh my
etc., etc.
gosh.
So he thought, well, I'm going to have a little ceremony for my grandmother along the river. And he went with his girlfriend, and they got some pink lilies. And Jill, I have to send you this video if I can find it. This was a few months ago. So we have this raging river that goes through our town. It's glacier fed. You don't go in it because it's ice cold, and people go
Okay.
whitewater rafting on it. So to paint the picture of how fast this river flows. So they set an intention. They said, Grandma, this is for you. And he wanted to place the bouquet of pink lilies in this raging river. So the lilies go downstream for about like maybe 5 meters. And then somehow they come back upstream against the current and float in front of him in this
Wow.
little tide pool. He sent me the video. It's wild. I have to find it and send it to you. Because how did those flowers float against whitewater rapids
Wow.
back to where he was standing?
That is intense.
Right? So his grandmother, so that's the power of working with spirit. His grandmother was there. She knew her grandson was missing her and solely connected. They were a tight-knit family, and she wanted him to understand that that relationship is not over. She's still there. And so she brought the flowers back. They videotaped it, and I think the flowers like went in a circle around him for like 5 minutes or something, and then they went downstream. But like that was her symbol to him. Is that not
That
so
is
amazing?
beautiful. That is
I know.
beautiful.
I know. And he got the tattoos before that happened. So that was her connection. Like those were her favorite flowers. I love it.
Me too. Always a good story, Jamie. Oh my God.
And yeah, so another story I had this week, Jill. I was doing another mediumship reading with this woman and her mom, as well as on the other side. And you know, it's really awesome how our loved ones want to support us and encourage us while we're still on this journey on earth. And this woman and her husband, they're making a hard decision. They're considering retiring like on the Pacific coast,
Mm-hmm.
whereas they live inland, where their kids, their grandchildren, they're all inland. So moving to the coast, it's a good 10-12 hour drive. Do we want to leave our grandchildren? Do we want to do this and stuff? And mom came through in a heartbeat, and she's like, yes, you absolutely go and retire on the coast. And she gave no reason after reason after reason why it's going to be a good fit for this senior couple, and So that was a little boost of encouragement. You know, you live in a place for 65 years and now
Wow.
you're considering moving, and it's scary. It's not easy. But like mom on the other side really wanted to encourage her daughter and her husband to go forward because they're going to live such a vibrant life on the ocean. She was showing me he's going to take up sailing. And sure enough, my client said, yeah, my husband's always wanted to start sailing. And um, her mother on the other side was also showing me her daughter starting to work in the farmers markets because it's a little town they want to move to. And she said, you know what, I've always had a hobby of making jewelry and everyone said
Wow.
I should sell it, so I've been considering, you know, maybe I'll go in the farmers market and just do it for fun every Saturday.
Yeah.
And so mom was like, yes, do this.
Wow.
So sometimes you just need that little bit of encouragement, you
Hmm.
know, make the bed properly, go sell your jewelry at the farmer's market. You know, we need that. Earth and life is not easy. So why not continue and strengthen those relationships on the other side for a little bit of boost?
Yeah. Absolutely. I love it. I love it. Now, we've talked a whole lot over the months. You do this with humans, with animals, with children, and you can really guide people in this. And do you have any upcoming classes that you're working on? You do group classes as well sometimes, right?
Yeah, I can do group classes, and a lot of my classes are one-on-one just because I really want people to feel they can go around their work schedule and their personal life as well. So I'm pretty flexible in my times. So if you sign up one-on-one, we just accommodate you the way you need to be. And, you know, it's nice because people get busy.
Mm.
And so it's because I really enjoy the self-paced courses because you can do it at your own pace. And it is live with me. So if you want to finish a course in a week, perfect. If you want to do it in a month, perfect. If you want to do it in 6 months, that's totally up to you. Um, so I love that. But again, if you want to do it with a friend or a sibling, I had two students, the brother and sister, 9 and 11 they were, and they just rocked my world. They were so funny and really harnessed the power of um, their abilities, their psychic and intuitive abilities. So it was amazing.
Aw.
So, and I know we've mentioned it before, Jill, but like that's the importance of encouraging our children to really honor this and not shut it down. You know, why go through life not being in contact with our loved ones on the other side or like spirit in general? Let's use that. They want to help us. We just have to allow it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I had a friend's mom who passed a few days ago, old friend, and I saw it on Facebook. My sister told me about it. So I went on and I put a little nice thing on, for her saying how I said, it's going to get easier with time. I said, and just know, have solace in knowing that she's with her loved ones and she's still with you. And she's saying hi to my mom, like try to, everyone does like the RIP, so sorry for your loss. But I put a little extra oomph in there about how it will get better and no, she's not gone. So just because I feel that people need to know that, but I added that in my little comment to her because, it's different from everyone else's and it's true. I'm not putting her, or sadness down but it will get better and she's still with
Yes.
you. So not to like grieve as much in a sense, which is easier said than done to someone who just lost someone, but I think it'll help her in the future.
Yeah. And like doing this type of work doesn't shield us mediums and psychics from grief either, because humans are so conditioned to have that physical touch and sight. And you know, so when we do lose a loved one or a beloved pet, you know, life does change and it's
Mm-hmm.
scary. And you know, I learned that when I was grieving my dog Breeze, who passed away in 2016. And as you know, Breeze has since reincarnated back to me, but it was terrifying. I And that's what led me into doing this professionally, because I really realized after a few months of hardcore grief that our relationship wasn't over. And because at first I was scared it was. And because, I was very vulnerable and fragile. And someone told me, it's okay, Breeze is with other people on the other side. And that made me so mad because no, Breeze is my soulmate. She's my dog. I don't want her with people I don't know on the other side. I want her back with me and in my soul family, which was the case, but I was just very fragile and grieving. But, and that's the thing, like a lot of people might probably do feel cheated, if someone dies early or you don't have that final I'm sorry or I love you or whatever. A lot of the grief feeling is feeling cheated, but once we can process that and move forward, then that's when the relationship can really you can really feel it continuing and building the strength behind it. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Can I ask, have you ever met anyone else like you that has been able to find their pet years later, reincarnated? I mean, the story you've told, for those just listening may not know, as she just brought up quickly about, she found her dog again reincarnated. Are you in a group? Like, do you know other people who've done this? Because that's pretty fascinating. It doesn't sound so common to me. Is this?
Yeah, a lot of my students, or not students, sorry, a lot of my clients, they come to me because they're grieving their animals on the other side.
Can help them.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And a few have come back. A few are still in the process of coming back. And the thing is, our animals want us to have a lesson while they're away. And once we conquer that lesson, they can easily come back. So I'm working with one girl right now. She's so busy with work, and her dog recently passed away, and her dog is saying, I'm coming back. What? Mom, you need to chill. You need to take a step back and have time for yourself. And you need to do that European trip that you've always dreamed of. Because we all know if I come back, you're not going to Europe. You're not leaving me with a babysitter or something.
Yeah.
So you need to conquer that dream first, and then I'm going to come back. So I know it sounds silly, but that's how our animals work. They want us to do what we've always dreamt of doing. So she needs to cut back on her work so she can have time. And, honor her free time so she doesn't feel guilty for the dog when the dog comes back, and this dog really wants her to go to Italy because she's always wanted to do that. So when she does these check mark boxes, her dog will reincarnate. But also my mentor who taught me, I've always been an animal communicator, but I did study it, and my teacher, her dog has reincarnated, is in his third body in this lifetime of hers. So he's passed away twice and she's found him twice more. So yeah, it happens all the time.
Amazing. Sorry to go digress there. We were on a topic today, which I forgot now. Oh, electricity and connecting, but thank you.
Yeah, just the power and energy of setting your intention and working with spirit. And, being on the animal topic here, I was communicating with this wonderful dog in California this past week. And I asked the dog, is there anything you need your mom to know? And the dog was like, calm. My mom needs to calm down. And so when I asked my client about this, she was like, yes, I need to calm down. My work is so stressful. And the dog, picks up on this. Actually, I do think I told you the story last week. So the dog now wants his mom to, you talk to the dog, what's bothering her, and the dog is saying, like, I want to use my energy and calm you down. So the power of spirit can also work through animals in their physical bodies as well, because our animals are extremely psychic and connected to higher source energies. So, and that's why animals come forward as so calming and loving.
Oh, thank you for sharing. And by the way, we still have time, but just remind me of your website.
So it's jaimebreeze.com, JAIMEBREEZE.com.
Perfect.
And on Instagram at The Mountain Medium.
Good. We still have time. Continue. Yes, we have 5 minutes. Go for it.
Oh, okay. Awesome. Yeah. So
like no pressure.
Yeah. So yeah, that's why getting a mediumship reading or psychic reading is very fun and good and can encourage you. So I had another client who was worried about her 37-year-old daughter because she's a stay-at-home mom and she doesn't feel like she's being empowered and independent, and spirit showed me her. They flashed a beautiful purple fabric in front of me, and I asked this woman, I said, is your daughter a designer? And she was like, yes, she loves fashion design. And she used to do it, but then she had 3 kids and kind of put it on the back burner. I'm like, okay, well, spirit is saying it's there. When she is ready to pick up fashion designing again, it's going to be successful. If she wants it, it's there. So that's what a psychic reading is as well. It shows you what is in your energy field, whether you choose to or not. Because we all have free will, right?
Yeah.
So psychic readings aren't necessarily concrete like people think they are. If it's in your power, you can choose that path. So if this girl decides to get back in business, her fashion design career, spirit was showing me, will take off. They were actually showing me her going to New York for Fashion Week.
Wow.
If she decides to do it.
Ooh, it's pretty awesome.
Right? Yeah. So she doesn't have to. She can be a stay-at-home mom. But if she feels the urge to start a career again, which her mother thinks she wants to because she wants to contribute and be part of the workforce again, then she's going to be a very successful fashion designer. So
good. Well, that's great to hear. Now, let me ask you, when you work with your clients one-on-one, you're mostly doing Zoom calls. What else today? I just, since we have 2 more minutes about the topic of electric energy, what should we be like aware of what's happening around us? Any other things? You mentioned lights flickering. I mentioned computer things happening.
Yes.
Energetically, what else?
Computers, cell phones. Especially with cameras on our cell phones nowadays, spirit can really work through that. When my grandma passed away 2 years ago, my mom was holding her phone, and all of a sudden this flash of my grandmother's face was on my mom's phone for like 2 seconds, and then it disappeared. And it was an image that was not a photo. My mom had never seen this image of her mother before. So it was definitely my grandmother coming through and saying, hey, I'm here.
Yeah.
And my mom like scrolled through her entire phone just to be sure. She's like, where was that image from? Where was that image? And she's never been able to like pinpoint it. So I know it was the energy coming through. So yeah, phones, computers, absolutely. The lights. So definitely go try and watch my reel today if you can on my Instagram. Jill, you'll be like, you'll see how the lights are different from when there's a burnt out light bulb or like something like, a thunderstorm coming and turns off your electricity. There's a difference.
Okay.
And you'll be able to see it.
All right.
Yeah. And with the lights flickering as well, sometimes it can be like an SOS pattern too, which is really interesting.
Okay.
Yeah. So there's
the music, and they come through music in the car, the radio.
Yeah.
All right, Jaime, how can we reach out to you?
JaimeBreeze.com and on Instagram at The Mountain Medium. And Jill, I know you're going away next week. So are you?
Oh, yes, I am. I'm like, wait, what? Yes, I have a corporate job in Boston. Yes. So I won't be, that's right. I won't be here. Correct. I'm like, I was so excited going away. I'm like, it's work, but I am away.
Okay. Awesome.
You shocked me. I was like, she's predicting a vacation. So yes, we're not meeting next Monday. Okay.
So we'll be back together in 2 weeks.
All right. Perfect. Thank you for reminding me. And scary. bothering me. Have a great day, Jamie. Pleasure.
All
And I'll
right.
check out your Instagram soon. Have a great day.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you can now listen live on the MyTuner Radio and online Radio Box apps for iOS, Android, and the Amazon App Store. Or check us out online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com or search Podcast Business News Network on onlineradiobox.com/US so you don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
Mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house. And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned. This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.